Hey legends, and welcome back to the least knowledgeable sim racing channel. The big news today is that rFactor 2 and its parent developer Studio 397 have just been acquired by Motorsport Games. We're going to run through the official information and press release first, after which I'll share my personal thoughts on the situation right at the end of the video. If you've not heard of Motorsport Games before, you wouldn't be in the minority, as their foray into sim racing development has largely revolved around NASCAR heat. That is, until recently. Heralding some major moves to break out into hardcore sim racing, Motorsport recently purchased Black Delta, the developers of Aussie karting sim Kartcraft. After this, they announced Traction.gg, a new platform for online racing and esports, which look to either augment or supplant what Overtake.gg is already doing. Now we have news that Motorsport have finalized the deal, acquiring both Dutch developer Studio 397 and their main property rFactor 2 from Luminous. This isn't the first time the two have worked together, with Motorsport being involved both with the virtual 24 Hours of Le Mans series with Studio 397, as well as the recent Formula E Race at Home challenge. The official press release reads, Motorsport Games, a leading racing game developer, publisher, and esport ecosystem provider of official motorsport racing series throughout the world, announced today that it has entered a binding term sheet to acquire Studio 397 BV, the company behind the industry-leading rFactor 2 racing simulation platform from Luminous International BV. The acquisition will see Studio 397 continue its work on rFactor 2 while also developing the physics and handling models for Motorsport Games' forthcoming projects. Motorsport Games expects to utilize its resources and expertise to enhance the rFactor 2 offering, especially in areas highlighted by the racing community. This last part is potentially very exciting, as anyone involved in the rFactor 2 community knows that there is quite a list of long-standing issues with the simulator, which either haven't been addressed for years or have been addressed in ways which are side grades rather than upgrades. Studio 397 and Motorsport Games have long worked in tandem, with rFactor 2 providing the simulation platform for the highly successful 24 Hours of Le Mans virtual race, as well as the Formula E Race at Home challenge, both of which were operated by Motorsport Games. It is expected that Studio 397 will retain its name and branding, with the existing development team and management will remain in the studio. We have been working with the team at Studio 397 for a long time on both game development and esports. This is an acquisition that, when completed, makes complete sense for all parties, and we're delighted to have them agree to join the Motorsport Games family, said Stephen Hood, president of Motorsport Games. Studio 397 has a clear passion for virtual racing, and together we recognize an opportunity to work as one team to advance the genre to the next level, continued Hood. We see this as great news for the sim racing community, as we can now leverage the best elements of the rFactor 2 platform, combine it with our foundational use of Unreal Engine, developed by Epic Games, and layer in the additional components our talented teams have spent the last 2 years developing. Our aim was to start out with a product that had heart and soul. When the planned acquisition is completed, we can operate safe in the knowledge that another piece of an ambitious puzzle has been secured. Marcel Offermans, managing director at Studio 397, followed with, after growing rFactor 2 in the last 5 years, we're excited to take the next step with Motorsport Games, advancing rFactor 2 and integrating its advanced simulation technology into future projects. We share a common ambition to be the best at what we do. The level of simulation and feeling of driving offered by rFactor 2 is second to none, shared Fernando Alonso, Motorsport Games shareholder, Alpine Formula 1 driver and two-time Formula 1 World Drivers Champion. I'm delighted that Studio 397 and rFactor 2 will be joining our Motorsport Games family, and I'm sure that we will enjoy a great deal of success together. Now, time for my hot take. Those who have followed this channel since the outset would know that we've spent a great deal of time highlighting rFactor 2, both pros and cons. The prospect of having a larger developer bankrolling the necessary changes to the rFactor 2 platform can in this case potentially be a very, very good thing. Studio 397 and Luminous have a very loose management structure, and with a larger, more voracious company taking the reins with ambitions to create best-in-class products, we may finally see the rectification of outstanding issues, both with the physics model as well as the user interface experience. Based on the press release, it appears that Motorsport will want to integrate rFactor's advanced physics model into future releases, being powered by Unreal Engine 4. As this is similar to what Kunos have recently done with Assetto Corsa Competizione, it begs the question of how well the fusion may potentially go, given that we're told Unreal 4 does have substantial drawbacks to being used for racing simulation. Whatever the case, with the blessing of Fernando Alonso and his very close relationship to rFactor 2 and its endurance events, it's safe to say that somebody of that caliber is going to want to create a very realistic driving simulation. This would follow logically with statements made by Marcel, the managing director of Studio 397, as well as the stated intent of Motorsport Games in this press release. All in all, this is very exciting news, and I can't wait to cover it as the situation develops. I just wish that somebody gave me a heads up ahead of time so that I could have bought shares in Motorsport Games. Until next time, we'll see you later.